throughout, just feel free to ask them. All right, so we're just going to go through the kickoffs, goal kicks, and corner kicks for the 9v9 format. So with the 9v9, which I was talking about the 44 and 77 earlier, the kickoffs, the same concepts kind of apply. From the kickoff, from the goal kick, from the corner kick, we are trying to score a goal. Okay, so I like from the kickoffs for teams to play the ball forward. All right, so rather than playing back, you see that kind of a high level that they play the ball back all the way to the centre back, and they kind of passes the ball up long when their players can get there. So that's kind of maybe more of a high level concept. Okay, because maybe it's kind of they can play that ball and they have those players up there already as they pass that ball back. Now, for our youth teams, the 9v9 format, kind of an idea. Now, this will also depend on the attributes of the players. Do you have players that can dribble with the ball? Are they good passers, and so on? Now, if you have a player that's really talented that can dribble, I would have a player pass him the ball. This could be one option, and they basically just dribble forward. All right, so can they beat that initial player that confronts them? Maybe they beat the second one. Now, even if they do lose the ball, when the defender comes, that kind of maybe third player, at least the ball now is in your attacking half. Okay, so you lose the ball, but now you might have players kind of closer to the ball, and maybe you might lose the ball initially, but you might have players close to them so they can maybe win the ball back. At least you're kind of closer to the goal that you scored on. So that yeah, Ty, you might want to mute.
Sorry about that.
That's all good. No worries. Just let me know if you have a question. So yeah, that could be an option. Just to start with, just kind of pass that ball to the player that's kind of really talented and can dribble a couple of players, and just have them take off from the kickoff. Another option, could obviously be to depending on your strategy and attributes of your players. So maybe just kind of pass that ball into spaces where players can run on. So maybe you have a wide player out wide, and then you have a player, maybe acting like they're going to play short, but maybe passes it into a gap, okay, for a player to run onto. So you could maybe get into these positions, and obviously these players can move on, and maybe you're in a crossing position already, to score. Okay, so I like these passes in between gaps of players, but it would depend on, okay, if you've done that once or twice, maybe the other team kind of blocks one way. So like, oh, we know he's facing this way, and he's looking to play that ball every time into the space. Well, if that happens, maybe this player takes the ball now and goes the opposite way. So we have this player running onto, and the opposite player passes. So it kind of like keeps the opposition on their toes to what type of pass they actually make. Okay, so that's kind of a couple of options for kickoffs. Another one I kind of talked about, is passing back to maybe a midfield or centre midfielder, and then these players kind of move up, and as this player is dribbling, maybe they can connect, with one of these players. All right, so obviously, this player will be kind of pressured, these will be pressured up. So then how can you find those passes to our forward players? So it's kind of a quick pass back. These two move forward up into a good area, and then they find them with a pass, whether it's on the ground, in the air, or maybe a ball that's kind of into the space towards the goal, so they can run onto. So a couple situations, couple options. Obviously talked about defensive kickoffs as well. So you want players to pressure the ball, but you have to watch out for balls in behind into the wide areas, and then balls in behind your defenders as well. So if they're looking to play the ball in behind, you might want to have your goalkeeper be ready for the ball, to maybe grab the ball. Or if the ball's being played in behind, maybe start your defenders a little bit wider. If these players cannot cut out the ball in behind. Maybe your players a little bit wider and facing these directions. So if they do play into this area, you have enough players to sweep up and play the ball or pass the ball or regain possession, so to speak. Any questions about kickoffs? All right. So corner kicks. We talked about this in the 44 and 77 format. So corner kicks will depend on some factors. All right, some factors of the game. Now this is kind of stopped at a situation where the blue team's defending, so the red team have the ball. Blue team's defending, however, when I say factors and variables, well, what's the time of the game? What's the score of the game? In this situation, I've come up with, hey, the blue team are down 1-0 and it's 5 minutes to go. So what I've done is, hey, I've kind of created a situation where, hey, the blue team have left 3 up. Well, if it's 5 minutes to go, it's not long left to score a goal, and the blue team need to get it into, obviously, this goal. Having a corner against is not a great scenario, but if you leave 3 up, maybe that gives opportunity to, okay, if they play the ball into the box and they clear the ball, well, maybe they're up against, 3 or 4 defenders, but at least they're up, and you have numbers kind of like close to the goal in the attack. So it all depends on the moment, on the situation. What's the scoreline? What's the environment? If it's really windy, okay, so it's really windy, and the ball, if you cross the ball in, it's always going to go out. Hey, maybe you play a short ball. Okay, so maybe it's a good idea to play players back a little bit. So if it's windy, or you don't have a player's attribute, you don't have a player that can maybe kick it into a good area, maybe you play short, and then this player dribbles up and crosses the ball, or maybe takes a shot even. Okay, so it just depends on the situation. What I like to have defensively from a corner kicks, so if the red team have the ball, always have a numbers up situation. So if the blue team leave 2 up, hey, red team, even though you have a corner kick, hey, make sure you leave 3 at the back. So that's a numbers up situation. So you have 1 more player than the opposition. Or I always like to have 1 player on the goalkeeper or close to the goalkeeper. If you're not going to play short, maybe you have players on the edge of the box that are going to run into close to the goal. So you tell your corner kick taker, hey, put it into a good area. Don't exactly aim for your players. Hey, aim for a space that they can run onto. So this player starts on the edge but runs into an area, okay, that covers most of the area as well. Maybe this player is running back post. So you have the front post covered, so they can run into this side. You have the middle covered, they run this side, and then you have the back covered on this side. Okay, so then that player plays the ball. Now it can go into this area, it can go around the back. So now they're running onto the ball, and then the player running onto the ball, you have a better chance of scoring and getting good contact rather than standing still. So if they're stood there already, it's a harder finish for playing that ball there. It's harder to finish standing still. Not saying they can't do it, rather than kind of running onto the ball into a good area. Now, from the blue side of it, from the defensive side, I always like to have 2 on the post protecting the goal. I always like to have 1 come between the post and the ball, kind of close on the line there. So anything low, this player can clear the ball or maybe dribble up. Okay, and the other players, can you maybe mark up? Okay, so be goal side. So put the player between the goal and the ball. Okay, so goal side is not, in this instance, if you're on this side, they're on the wrong side. So how they protecting the goal? So put them on this side. Now, if you need another one, maybe bring 1 more back, or depending on the situation, maybe you take off 1 player from the post that can mark that player goal side as well. So you're still kind of protecting the goal because obviously the ball's coming in from that side. Okay, if it goes there, obviously this player can maybe clear the ball out for another corner, clear it out for a throw in, or maybe clear the ball out in the best of both worlds, clear the ball out to our attackers that stay high. So just kind of, you know, some different ideas for corners four. The one I like to play is having all these players lined up. This is really hard to defend. And obviously you'll have blues defending. Okay, so the four. Okay, so then this player, instead of running to the near post, they run all the way around the outside to go to the back post. All right, this player, instead of going to the back post, they go into the front post. It's kind of like a diagonal run for this player, and then, you know, maybe a C type run on that side. So that's really hard to defend, because obviously this player is going to kind of maybe get blocked a little bit and can't reach them. So this player will be open for that run. These two basically kind of act as blockers, and can you go centrally into those areas there? So kind of like an idea. I've seen it as a line. I've seen it also as a square, as a square as well. So different kind of ideas to go around, and so on. Okay, so that's kind of ideas for corner kicks for and against. Goalkeepers, you always want your goalkeeper slightly off the line, closest to the post that the ball is being taken. Right, so obviously you don't want ahead of the ball or ahead of the front post, but you don't want on the other side that's furthest away. So you want them kind of like just off the line, just past the halfway between the goal and the post. Okay, and obviously facing. You've got to be facing the ball and the players. You obviously don't want to be facing the players like this, but you don't want to be straight facing the ball. You want to be sort of at an angle, so if the ball does come, they can see what's coming towards them, so you either can catch the ball or maybe punch the ball out as well. Any questions for corner kicks?
Nope, sounds good.
All right, just like I say, just some ideas. All right, goal kicks. Here we go, last but not least, the goal kick. Let's see where I have the goal kick here. Okay, let's use this one. No, let's kick off. Goal kick. Okay, so we're going to use the goal kick for the 77, which is very, very similar. All right, so this is a 77, but it's the same concepts apply. I can just delete this. That's obviously the build-out line. We do not have a build-out line for the 99. Okay, so what I'm seeing sometimes is this player. So you got the goalkeeper, you got the player, and then obviously you got players in central areas, and then this player just kicks the ball up. Now the issue with just kicking the ball up, and again this is 77, but just imagine there's two more players basically. The problem with just kicking the ball straight up is it doesn't give you much, I won't say chance to maybe regain the ball, and it's maybe down the middle. There's a high percentage you lose the ball, a high percentage the opposition will win the ball, and then you're straight under pressure again. You're straight under pressure because this player obviously now has to, after they kick the ball, have to sprint up out of the box, and it becomes a little bit difficult. Okay, now some options for the goal kick could be, now if your goalkeeper can, sometimes your goalkeeper does that as well, right? The same sort of concept. Now, if your goalkeeper's not got a strong leg, and you want to try to build the ball and without much risk, we need to get this ball wide. So the goal, what you should tell your kids, the goal is always in the middle of the field. Okay, so the goal is in the middle. We don't want to be trying to play down the middle. Now, the less risk is trying to play the ball wide. One option could be the player that has a big kick, play that ball wide. Okay, so wide away from our goal. All right, so wide away from the goal. Now, another option could be have that player out wide a little bit, and the goalkeeper can play the ball a little bit wider to start with. So you're wide already, okay, from your defender. Now, obviously, you get pressure straight away. Now, this player, because you're still kind of away from the goal, so the ball's not still out to the side. But now this player maybe, hey, this player drops in a little bit. Maybe this player plays the ball. Okay, so this player plays the ball wide. Now you're in even a better situation to play the ball forward or maybe to dribble with a ball, because you're right by the sideline, which is the furthest away from the goal. Okay, so just different ideas to play the ball up from a goal kick. If it becomes difficult and the red team, are pressing all the time, it's difficult, maybe this comes a little bit closer, okay, and you play the ball quickly, closer, and then this one plays it first time wide again. Or I'll get your forward player, high and wide, and then play a little bit wider into these spaces. If you're challenged with your certain attributes in your players, if the ball goes out, by the halfway line, okay, on the side, that's the perfect scenario where you can just defend. Okay, so you've not lost the ball. All right, now everyone pushes up. Okay, it's not in a dangerous situation. It's the furthest away from a goal, apart from in the opponent's half. Okay, and then we can just reset. Okay, and then we make it difficult for the opposition players, to score and play through us, basically. So the moral of the story is, from a goal kick, is how do we get this ball? Obviously, the main aim is to get it close to the opposition goal. All right, so we want to get it over the halfway line. But if you don't have players that can physically strike the ball over the halfway line, we've got to be creative. Now, if we can't get it over the halfway line, we must get that ball wide. Can that defender, dribble up and find that ball wide? All right, can you find the forward's feet from that position? If you have more talented players, you might want to think about putting players, two defenders, kind of close to the goalkeeper. So if the goalkeeper plays the ball here, all right, and they, all the red team are attracted to one side. This one back on. Maybe this player now plays it across your goal. Now again, depending on the situation, right? You never want a square pass, but maybe it's a ball here, or maybe it's a ball back to the goalkeeper, and maybe we can make another pass on that side. Now we've got space on the other side to play wide. So kind of just different ideas depending on attributes of your players. Now, if your players struggle to control, pass, dribble, you might not want to do 2 or 3 passes in your box to switch the ball out. Okay, you might want to do, okay, I'll make one pass, and then another pass is high and wide away from our goal. So that's really important. From the other side, the red team, defending goal kicks, important not to rush too many players. Okay, so if you play against a talented team, if you rush too many players, okay, and this player goes here, and maybe you take, okay, we're going to do 2 and pressure 2, or maybe sometimes you see 3, and they play that ball out and away from you. Now those 3 are all taken out of the game, and now you're in a numbers down situation. So it's important to say to them, okay, I don't mind 2, now it should just be, okay, maybe 1. Okay, because if that player, as soon as that goalkeeper's playing, hey, let's pressure 1 there. Hey, and then that other one, can you block the play out wide? Now it becomes really difficult to play, out wide, and it's probably going to end up in a turnover, or maybe the ball goes out. But from a green perspective, if the ball goes out, it's better than losing the ball in the middle of the field here, and then you're, under pressure straight away. Okay. So really, really important on that side of it. So just kind of some ideas from goal kicks, whether it's you want to play a little bit shorter and then you can go wide, or can you go wide straight away from the goalkeeper? Can you use your defender to play that ball out wide? Can you hit your furthest forward? Because the aim of the game is to try to score. Again, can we find the furthest forward? That's the highest point for us. Can you play that ball into that forward? Or if not, can you get your wide players nice high and wide to play the wide ball? Any questions with the goal kick type?
Nope, sounds good. That was good stuff. This is the first time I've had a team with no defenders with the big legs, so that's helpful.
Yeah, so you just just drop them in. Your goalkeeper, they could be 5 yards away from them, and then it's important for your wide player to stay wide, but also move as well. So if this player is getting pressured, okay, and sometimes this player's up and blocking, maybe even this player goes all the way back. So then it's like, okay, I'm going to play you here, and then we can travel up. or depending on how they're blocking, hey, can we move here? And then we can play. So it's important for this player to really support the player on the ball, depending on the situation of the opposition players. You never want to be behind, so then we can't play you the ball. Right? Hey, you might want to drop in here so they can play you the ball. So it's kind of just talking about different movements. So how can you support? How can you find the ball, even if it's here? Okay, drop in or there, and then hopefully another player will move into position, and then we can go up the field that way. So it's just all about kind of getting that ball wide away from your goal. All right, I think that's all I have. Let's say, Ty, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I can go through it here, or any coaches that are watching this from the recording, just let me know how I can help you, tactically, or if you have any questions in all the formats, whether it's 4v4, 77, 9v9, 11v11, just let me know and I can try and help.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. That was helpful.
Appreciate it. Have a good night, and I hope to see you on the field this weekend.
Actually, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, see you then.
See you at practice. See ya.
Right. Bye.